Hi everyone, Donut here, and today we're going to talk about some pretty crazy stuff, and I have a very big announcement for everyone. Let's go ahead and get started with one of the crazier stories I've seen in a while that really isn't that surprising considering how many sick-ass people are out there. The title of what we're going to talk about is Man Who Wanted to Cannibalize Child Victim Among Arrests in Upstate Sex Sting. You heard that correct. A dude wanted to eat a baby. You know, or a child. He just wanted to eat a small human. This comes out of Greenville, South Carolina, which is like 15 miles away from where I live, so that's nice. I actually used this as a teaching example today because someone knocked on the door and John walked up to the door and unlocked it and then just walked away from the door. I sat him down and I said, you realize there are people out there that will eat you. Anyways, Sheriff Lewis with the Greenville County Sheriff's Department had this huge sting on sex trafficking and child predators, and they ended up arresting 40 people. He said during the investigation, 14 people showed up at an arranged location with the intent of having sex with a child. He also said a husband and wife arrested during the investigation were identified as human traffickers. One man even drove from Myrtle Beach to Greenville, South Carolina with the intentions of kidnapping a 14-year-old, taking her back to Myrtle Beach, and selling her. What's really fucked up about this whole thing is this isn't the first time I've heard about somebody wanting to kidnap a child and eat them. You gotta think how many times has this actually happened and we don't know about it. I don't know if you guys remember it, but back in January, there was a guy from England. His name was Bollinger, 62 years old. He was convicted in 2014 of wanting to kidnap a child and eat it. I don't know how this guy only spent a few years in prison, but he was released and now he lives in Blair, Nebraska. So if you live in Blair, be on the lookout because you got a guy that wants to eat children living around you. So speaking of crazy ass people who want to do bad things to children, there's this one guy, I saw the story today, his name's Mcfadden. In 2015, he was convicted of sexually assaulting 6 children. The prosecutor of the case says he befriends people who have young kids and then he gets into a situation where he has access to those kids. He grooms them pretty heavily. And I'm not telling you about all these cannibals and creepers to scare the hell out of you. It's just a warning that there are some really sick people out there, so be wary of who you let around your kids. This report just came out 2 days ago, and the reason I'm bringing this guy up is because he was sentenced to 300 years in prison but got off on a technicality. He doesn't even have to register as a sex offender now. His attorney argued that his trial violated the state's speedy trial statutes, which requires certain cases in the state to be completed within 6 months. The Colorado Court of Appeals ruled in favor of Mcfadden in June. The state Supreme Court decided in February that it wouldn't hear the appeal. That means the lower court's decision stood and Mcfadden's conviction was thrown out. Get this though, Mcfadden's defense actually asked for a continuance which postponed the case even more. And then during the jury selection, the presiding judge noticed that the questionnaire brought up Mcfadden's past sexual offenses. The judge, who hadn't read the questionnaire beforehand, argued that Mcfadden couldn't receive a fair trial because of that and sought a third postponement. So his defense continued the trial twice, and then some judge said, no, this jury shouldn't know about his past as a sexual offender. It could hurt him in court. And because it was postponed for so long, he was set free. The court system is so fucking broke sometimes. Let's get into something a little bit happier. I'm being a big Debbie Downer right now. Let's look at an incident coming out of Phoenix where 2 shoplifters decided the smart thing to do would be to hop this fence to try and hide from police. If you watch the security footage, you can see them hop over a fence while they're running from police, and then the female half tries to hide under a bench. Here's the funny thing about this whole thing. The whole area that they jumped over the fence into, it's a police department. There was a sign on the front that says Peoria Police Department. They were both charged with shoplifting, trespassing in a critical public safety building, and a few drug charges. And next, I wanted to take a look at a story coming out of North Las Vegas involving probably the dumbest looking person I've ever seen in my life. While 200 children were playing on a playground at a school, a woman named Kistau Killo, 33 years old, hopped on top of the fence that surrounds the playground with a pickaxe and started screaming that she was going to kill them. Police arrived, she dropped the pickaxe, got off the fence, and was arrested. I think this is another good example of don't do drugs, kid. Or in her case, just looking at her, don't sleep with your family members. Okay, so the way I wanted to do this video is I was gonna do the bummer, messed up shit at first, and then I was gonna balance it out with some happy. The way I wanted to do this video is I wanted to start off with all the awful crazy shit that I usually talk to you guys about, like people eating babies and things like that, and then get on to something happy to balance it out. But first, I need to tell you about a dream I had after I saw this poster. In my dream, I was sitting at a barbecue eating the thickest, bloodiest goddamn steak you've ever seen while drinking copious amounts of beer. All my friends were there, and they were shooting miniguns and flamethrowers at old cars filled with tannerite. There were fireworks and women in bikinis everywhere. It just didn't feel American enough. It didn't feel right. Something just was off. That's when a bald eagle swooped down and landed directly in front of me. It looked at me, and it said one thing. Mustache. I woke up in a cold sweat and thought, how am I supposed to go watch Super Troopers 2 on 420 without a mustache? So I would like to make the announcement that I am officially growing the mustache back. All right, everyone, that's all I have for you today. Please check out the cooking stream tonight. We're going to be making lasagna and cheesy crack bread at twitch.tv/donutoperator. And don't forget, if you have subscribed to me with your Twitch Prime account from Amazon Prime, that you need to renew that every month. Everyone, this is Donut. I hope your weekend is amazing, and I want everyone to have a fantastic day.